Hello, second grade Smarties, and welcome to iReady Math Lesson 14, video number 5. So, what have we been practicing and learning about this week? Subtracting 3-digit numbers. Guess what we're going to be doing today? Subtracting 3-digit numbers. All right, so we are in our instruction book on pages 132 and 133. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to get open to those pages, and then let's do some learning together. All right, so we are on number 1. It says for each subtraction problem, tell if you need to regroup tens to get more ones. Then tell if you need to regroup hundreds. Circle yes or no for tens and for hundreds for each problem. So here's what we're going to do, Smarties. We are going to take these equations and we are going to rewrite them so we can compare the whole and the part we're taking away. So let's start with writing 932 minus 845. Okay, so starting with our ones place, remember 932 is my whole. When I subtract, I am taking away from my whole number. So I'm going to start in my ones place, right? I have 2 ones and I am trying to take away 5 ones. Am I going to need to regroup in the tens? Yes. So I will need to regroup. So I will give a 10 to the ones place to regroup. So yes, I will regroup in the tens. Let's look at the tens place. Am I going to need to regroup in the hundreds place? Well, let's look at the tens. In my whole, I have 2 tens and I'm trying to take away 4 tens. If I have 2 tens, can I take away 4 tens? No. So I am going to have to regroup in the hundreds. So I am going to take 100 and regroup it. So 100 is the same as 10 tens. I am going to put 100 or 10 tens in my tens place. So did we need to regroup in the hundreds? Yes. All right, let's look at 600. I'm going to make it a little squiggly. 673 minus 581. So starting in the ones place, look at 673. When we take away from the ones place, I have 3 ones. Can I take away 1 1? Yes. Did I need to regroup in the tens? No. So let's look at the tens place. I can regroup in the ones place. Let's go to the tens place. In my whole, I have 7 tens. I am needing to take away 8 tens. Can I take away 8? No. Where am I going to have to regroup? The hundreds place. So I regroup 100. So I take 100 and I change it to 10 tens. I put those 10 tens with my 7 tens. Did we need to regroup in the hundreds? Yes. Okay, let's move on to 392 minus 270. So 392 minus 270. All right, where do I start, Smarties? In my ones place. So looking at my ones place, in my whole, because I have to subtract from my whole. I cannot look at my part to take away from, right? So when I am subtracting, I always start by looking at my whole, that number on top, that big number. So if I have 2 ones, can I take away 0? Yeah, so 2 minus 0 is 2. Did we have to regroup in the tens? No, we did not have to exchange a 10 for 10 once. Let's go to the tens place. In my whole, I have 9 tens. Can I take away 7? Yes. How many tens do we have left? 2. Did I have to regroup in the hundreds? Did I have to change 100 to 10 tens? I had a smarty in my class, shout out to Noah, whose mom told him to think of regrouping as unrolling a number. So if I have 100, I am going to unroll it to 10 tens to help out my tens place. If I have a 10 and I'm going to regroup in the ones, I'm going to unroll a 10 into 10 ones. So I did not have to regroup in the hundreds place. I have 3 hundreds. I take away 2. I have 1 left. All right, one more. We have 557 minus 148. All right, where are we going to start, Smarties? In the ones place. Where do I look at? My whole number or my part? I look at my whole. So in my ones place, I have 7 ones. Can I take away 8? No. Where am I going to regroup? The tens place. So yes, I am regrouping. So I unroll a 10 and change it to 10 ones. So I put those 10 ones with my 7 ones. Okay, so we would subtract the ones, then we would need to move to the tens. I look at the tens in my whole number. If I have 4, can I take away 4? Yes. Do I need to regroup in the hundreds? No. So Smarties, when we see problems like this, when it wants us to circle yes or no or true or false, sometimes we can't just look at it. We need to work it out. All right, let's move on to number 2. It says fill in the blanks to find 826 minus 635. All right. So looking at this equation already, I can go ahead and solve my ones. I have 6 ones and I'm taking away 5. If I have 6 and I take away 5, how many ones are going to be left? 1. Let's move to the tens place. Now, when we've added 3-digit numbers, when we get to the tens place, we can't have more than 10 tens because 10 tens is 100. So 12 tens would be 102 ones. So that means that when we were subtracting in our tens place, we had 2 tens and we could not take away 3. Where would we have had to regroup? We would have had to regroup in the hundreds place. So if my whole was 826 minus 635, and I had to regroup in the hundreds, how many hundreds would be left in the hundreds place? I would have 7 hundreds. So what number is going to go here? 7 hundreds. Now we were regrouping. So that means we took 100 and unrolled it into 10 tens to add to my 2 tens in my whole. So I'm still showing 826, but I have regrouped. So now I can subtract in my tens place. 12 tens, take away 3 tens. How many tens are we going to have left? 9 tens. All right, now I can move to my hundreds. If I have 7 hundreds and I take away 6, how many are going to be left? 100. All right, let's move on to number 3. It says Callie has some shells. She found 132 more. Now she has 215 shells. How many shells did she have to begin with? Circle the correct answer. All right, Callie had some shells. So Callie started with some shells. She found 132 more. Now she has 215. How many shells did she have to begin with? We know we're subtracting 3-digit numbers, but this kind of sounds like an addition problem. Can I use an addition problem to help me find my difference? Yeah, so let's think about this problem. In the beginning of the problem, it said that Callie had some shells. Did we know how many shells she had? No, so let's write a question mark. It says that she found 132 more. If she found more, what are we doing? We are adding. So she found 132 more. How many did she have altogether? 215. Now, remember, with our fact families, when we have two parts and a whole, we can use those parts and whole to make two addition problems and two subtraction problems. So if I know that a part plus 132 equals 215, what would be my subtraction equation? What would I start with when I am subtracting? My whole. What number is my whole? 215 minus, what's the part that we know? 132. All right, so we are solving 215, our whole, from the part that we know to find how many shells Callie started with. Okay, so 215 minus 132. You can solve this in whatever way works best for you. I'm going to draw a picture for this. So I'm going to start with 200, 200s, 110, and 5 ones. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so I have 200s, 110, and 5 ones. I am taking away 132. I'm going to start with my ones. I can take away 2 ones. Awesome. I have 3 ones left. So I'm going to write 3 for the ones. Now I move to the 10s. Ooh, I have 110 in my whole, but it's asking me to take away 3. If I have 110, can I take away 3? No. Where am I going to need to regroup? The hundreds. So when I regroup in the hundreds, I change 100 to how many tens? 10 tens. So I still have 100, but I am showing it as 10 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have 11 tens, and I only have 100 left. Okay, so I have my 11 tens. Can I take away 3 tens now? Yes. So I'm going to take away 3 tens. 1, 2, 3. How many tens do we have left? We have 8 tens left. Now I go to my hundreds. It's not 200s anymore because we had to regroup. So I had 200s, but I regrouped. So I have 100, and I'm taking away 100. So how many shells did Callie start with? Look at your options and circle the correct option. She had 83 shells to start with. And see, I had that right there too. All right, let's move on to number 4. Ooh, what strategy are we using to solve this problem? An open number line. All right, so it says add up to find the difference. Fill in the blank. Okay, so it's wanting us to think of this subtraction problem and change it up to an addition problem. So I know my whole. My whole is 524. I am trying, I am trying to find my missing part, my difference. What is the part that we are starting with? 395. All right, so for this first box, what number is going to go there? What is the part that we know? 395. So we're going to have to write really small, 395. And then we have a smaller jump. We are going from 395 to 400. So it looks like our hundreds, tens, and ones are going to be changing. Think about 95. How close is the number 95 to 100? 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. How many more do we need to add to 395 to have 400? 5. So do you smarties see that? So if I have 395 and I count on to 400, 395, and let's say I count on 396, 397, 398, 399, 400. How many jumps did we have? We had 5 jumps. So 5. All right, then, so we're at 400. We're going to jump 100. What would 400 plus 100 be? 500. So our hundreds place is changing. All right, and now we're going from 500 to 524. What am I going to add to 500 to get to 524? 24. All right, so we started at our part that we knew, and we counted on to get to our whole. When we put all of these jumps together, we will find our difference. So let's look. We had 100 plus 24. So I'm going to break that into tens and ones. So 24 is 20 plus 4. And I can't forget the 5 ones that I added at the beginning. So 100, 2 tens, and 4 plus 5 ones. What is 4 plus 5 ones? 9. So 524 minus 395 is 129. Whew! I'm really starting to like that strategy. Are you guys liking that strategy? All right. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely having a better growth mindset about open number lines. All right, let's go to number 5. It says any class that earns 750 reading points gets a pizza party. Which class has more points? How many more points? Okay, let's read that again. Any class that earns 750 reading points gets a pizza party. Which class has more points? How many more points? Okay, so this one's kind of tricky. So any class can have a pizza party when they get to 750. Okay, we have 2 classes that we are comparing. Class A has 585 and Class B has 612. I want you to take 750 and put it out of your head. Okay, take it out of your head. We are comparing Class A to Class B. Which class has more points, A or B? Look at your chart. Which class has more points? B. So B has 612. Class A has how many points? 585. Okay, now think about it. How many more points does Class B have than 585? If I am comparing, what am I going to do? Add or subtract? I'm going to subtract. So let's subtract this out. Okay, where am I going to start, Smarties? In my ones place. So when I'm starting with my ones place, I look at my whole. I have 612. I have 2 ones. it's wanting me to take away 5 ones. Can I take away 5 ones? No. Where do I need to regroup? In the tens place. So I'm going to take that 110 and I'm going to regroup it. I'm going to give that 10 to the ones place. That 10 is going to change into 10 ones. So those 10 ones plus my 2 ones, I'm going to have 12 ones. Now I can subtract. I have 12 ones and I'm taking away 5. I can start at 5 and count to 12 if I can't do that in my head. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many ones are left? 7 ones. Okay, now we go to our tens place. I have 0 tens now in my tens place, and it wants me to take away 8. Can I do that? Nope. Where am I going to regroup, Smarties? In the hundred. So I'm going to unroll a 100 into 10 tens. So I'm going to put those 10 tens with my 0 tens. I have 10 tens. If I have 10 tens and I take away 8, how many are left? 2. Now I go to my hundreds. I look at the hundreds that I have remaining. I have 5 hundreds. I'm taking away 5. 0. So how many more points does Class B have? 27 points. All right, and number 6. It says, look at problem number 5. Ben says Class B needs 148 more points to get a pizza party. Is Ben correct? Ooh, okay. So we know that they need how many points to have a pizza party? 750. Ben says that Class B, they have 612 and they need 148 more to get a pizza party. Okay, so if he's getting more, are we adding or subtracting? We are adding. So let's go ahead and do some addition. So where do we start when we add? The ones place. So 2 plus 8 is 10. Can I have a 10 in the ones place when I am adding? No. So I'm going to keep my 0, 1s, and 10 and move my 1 10 to the tens place. And now I add my tens. 1 10 plus 2 tens is 2, and 2 plus 4 is 6. I don't need to regroup, and so I can move to my hundred. 6 plus 1 is 7. All right. So, looking at Ben's problem, he said that the class needed 148 more points. When they add 148, how many points do they have? 760. Will they have a pizza party with 760? Yes. But let's say that the problem is wanting us to find exactly 750. What do we have too much of with 760? Our hundreds, they look great. Our ones, they look great. But our tens, how many more tens do we have than we need? So if I only need 5 tens, but Ben says 760, we need to take away a 10. Well, we can't take away a 10 from 612 because that's how many points they had. If I take away a 10 from 140, how many 10s would be there? If I took a 10 away from 148, how many would be there? 3. Let's change this, okay? So Ben said we needed 148. Let's solve the problem when we only have 3 tens to add. Okay, so 2 plus 8 in our ones was 10. We can't have a 10, so we regrouped. 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 3 is 5. So was Ben correct? No. Ben only, whoa, be nice if I spelled only correctly. Ben only, or wait, not Ben, class B. Ooh, gonna make all kinds of changes. Class B only needed, how many more did they need? 138 more points. So Ben was super close, right? He just had 110 more than he needed. All right, Smarties, that is it for iReady Math Lesson 14 video number 5. Remember with this new strategy, with this new way of solving problems, to keep that growth mindset, because you're a good learner and good learners do hard things. Happy learning, Smarties, and I'll see you very soon with another subtracting lesson. Bye, guys.